I'm Adam Biggers here with Detroit News, Michigan basketball writer Rod Beard. Rod, what are your kind of initial impressions right now heading into the season? I know we haven't seen them play, exhibitions coming up, but there are some expectations. What are you looking for out of the Wolverines?
Well, I think the biggest issue for me is going to be the rebounding and the big men and how they address those issues in the front court. They're without Mitch McGary, Glenn Robinson, Nick Stauskas. I think those are, for the most part, replaceable pieces. Jordan Morgan and John Horford are also gone, and those are the ones with the rebounding and the defense in the front court I think are going to be the hardest pieces to replace. And when you're talking about freshmen taking on some of those roles, I think that's where they're going to struggle early to try to find where they can get that same consistency and that same production.
The youth also, not only the inexperience, but the youth. And you talk about John and Jordan, leadership and experience. How big of a gap or a hole will there be to fill for Beeline this season?
Well, I think there's a huge hole, but this coaching staff does a really good job of coaching guys up and making them ready to slide into those new positions. And you've got some good raw material to work with when you look at Ricky Doyle with all of that size at about 6'9", 6'10". When you talk Mark Donnell, who can be your stretch four, play some traditional four too, do a little bit of everything. You've got DJ Wilson. You've got other guys that move around in different places. So you're not pegged down with one guy who has to take on all of that role. You can split it up among two or three guys.
When I look at this team right now, I like what I see out of Walton. Obviously, I really like with LeVert. I'm kind of interested to see, because we've seen guys either they'll flourish or maybe kind of flounder a little bit after an injury. Based out of what you've seen out of Karis LeVert, I know on my end I'm confident that he'll return to his ways. What's your take on Karis?
Not worried about Karis or the backcourt at all. I mean, if you look at what they've got with Spike, with Derek Walton, with Karis, and the newer guys coming in. You've got Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman, who's coming in, and Aubrey Dawkins, who they're very high on right now. I don't have any concerns about the backcourt. The depth is there, the level of talent is there. I mean, this could be a completely different team if John Horford comes back. You're talking about this being maybe a top 10 team because they've got the depth in the backcourt to complement what the lack of depth that they have in the front court. I think they can make this up, though. This may be a team that won't gel until later in the season. Maybe around Big Ten season, you'll see them start to hit a stride. And the Big Ten isn't really top heavy where there are a lot of teams that are really going to be able to challenge them if they come across the way that it looks like they might. So this could be a top 3 team in the Big Ten and could make a little bit of noise going into the second week of the NCAA tournament if you're looking that far ahead.
I agree with that, especially because, we look at Wisconsin as the team to be, and again, we haven't seen these guys play yet, but talent-wise, what they have coming back, and production-wise, I think that the Wolverines are a top 3, top 4 team in the Big Ten without question. And really, if they hit the stride that you're talking about, I think that this could be a team. We've seen some young teams just go and that phrase "young and dumb," and I mean that in an endearing term. These guys could be young and dumb and go out and ruffle some feathers.
Yeah, Beeline's talked about the ability of these guys to come in and really absorb and start to put some of the things that they've learned in practice one day into immediate effect and be able to show that they've learned those things and they understand how to apply them. The application process is what he called it. So if they can do that and they can continue that throughout the season, because once the games start, all of that stuff's going to come hot and heavy where you've got one game, you've got a game plan for the next game. You don't have time to reflect as much, but you got to get ready for that next one. And that's going to be part of the challenge, especially for freshmen when you're hitting that kind of freshman wall that we've seen over the past few years too.
Well, excellent. I'm Adam Biggers, Rod Beard of the Detroit News. Appreciate your time, Rod.
All right.
Thank you.